Hello and a very warm welcome to the channel. It is time for another American sport reaction video. So this is one that I think is mainly for my benefit. I'm not going to lie. So I've reacted now to quite a few NFL videos and college football videos, and I've got to say they are the sport is visually spectacular. American football, the fans are amazing. The stadiums are in some cases works of art in their own right. In almost all cases, enormous by kind of the standards of what we have over here. But the only slight issue is I don't always understand totally what's happening on the pitch. I get the general principle. I get that one team is trying to advance the ball one way, the other team is trying to go the other way. But you get to a certain point, you get like a touchdown. I know that you get to kick for goals, which I mean, all of that is very similar to rugby, but there's a lot of stuff I don't get. So I don't totally get like why a guy's throwing the ball and when and who he's allowed to throw to and who he's not allowed to throw to. I don't get why the game gets stopped quite as often as it does. So I'm hoping this will enlighten me. So yeah, the video is from the Nia channel. The video, obviously, the link in the description to the original video. Go show him some love. The video is called "The Rules of American Football Explained in Brackets NFL," and let's go.
Nin explains
Let's
the
go.
rules of American football. The object of the game is for your team to score more points than the opposing team. Teams are made up of 46
So that bit I get, like that very, very basic ground level. That's where I'm at.
players in the NFL, with 11 players taking to the field at any one time. The field is 100 yards long by 53 yards wide, with two 10-yard end zones at each end. White markings on the field help players, referees, and spectators keep a track of what's going on. The
Okay.
game starts with a kickoff. The team
I should say I'm very glad we got a Brit explaining it because I feel things are more on my level. I feel I hope he'll be more sympathetic to my plight in not understanding what's going on.
of the ball is known as the offense, and the team without the ball is the defense.
Okay.
The job of the offense is to move the ball up the field and try and score points. This can be done by either running forwards with the ball or by throwing it up the field for a teammate to catch.
Okay.
The offense.
So okay, big difference to rugby already because in rugby you can't pass forward. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. My vague understanding is that American football kind of and rugby had like the same origin sport, or that American football grew out of rugby at American colleges. I'm not like an expert, and I may have got that totally and embarrassingly wrong. But please do comment below. I'll be genuinely very interested.
Given 4 chances, or 4 downs, to make at least 10 yards.
Oh.
If the offense manages to move the ball 10 yards or more, they will retain possession of the ball, whilst given another 4 downs to make another 10 yards. On your TV screen, you will see this graphic.
So what happens after you get the 4 goes? Does it like switch over to the other side or something?
This tells you what down the team is on, and this tells you how many yards they need to make.
Yeah.
If you're also watching this on TV, they will also show you the lines they need to cross in order to make their downs.
Oh, that's genuinely
the
really
defense's
useful.
job is to stop the offense moving the ball forwards by tackling. This includes pulling them to the ground, stopping them from moving forward, or forcing them off the field.
Okay.
If the offense fails to move the ball 10 yards within 4 downs, the ball is given to the defending team at that point.
And then they become the
defending
attackers.
team will then bring on their offensive players and try and move the ball in the opposite direction so that they can score. You'll most likely see the offense kick the ball away on 4th down to make it more difficult for the other team to score.
Because then they have to work their way back up the pitch or throw it. So in tactics-wise, there's a lot of similarity to rugby because rugby does exactly the same thing. Obviously, you can't throw it back up, but you can kick it back up the pitch.
Teams will usually have 3 different units of 11 players that come on the field at different times.
Really?
They include the offense. These players will usually come on the field when they have possession of the ball. The offensive unit consists of these positions.
Okay.
The quarterback is the most important player on the field, as he's the one who decides to pass the ball up the field, hand it off to a teammate so that they can run with it, or decide to run with it himself.
So I had no idea there was only one quarterback. I thought, because I keep hearing like quarterback, like someone's a quarterback, as it's like an important thing. And I just kind of assumed that there were loads of them. Going back to rugby, there is genuinely, legitimately a player in rugby called a hooker, and that's what like the position's called. So if you come to the UK and someone says they're a hooker, it can mean one of 2 very different things. I'll put it that way. I suppose it's possible, but like they coincide, but probably unlikely.
These offensive line positions are usually responsible for protecting the quarterback. The wide receivers are responsible for running down the field to catch the ball thrown by the quarterback, The tight end is responsible for blocking and also catching the ball in the middle of the field, and the running back and fullback is responsible for running with the ball up the field. The defense. These players will usually come on the field when the other team has the ball.
Wait, so every time the possession switches over, the two teams almost like switch, as in like so if you got like the Dallas Cowboys or whatever, they have like an offense and a defense, and they bring on an entirely separate load of players. It's not the same 11 players as when they were attacking. That's crazy. I mean, I know like American football teams are huge, so it kind of makes sense.
The defensive unit consists of these positions. The defensive line is responsible for moving past the offensive line. The linebackers stop running backs coming through the defensive line, and they're also responsible for attacking the quarterback. The cornerbacks try and stop the wide receivers, and the safeties try and stop the pass up the middle of the field.
Because also, I don't know, like, what level of like physical violence are you allowed to use to try and like bring someone down? I'm assuming there are things which are like prohibited, so presumably you can't like throw punches and stuff or like throw kicks. But it seems that you can basically smack into someone as hard as you like. I mean, I don't know if I can't think of any other sport other than like mixed martial arts where like every person on the pitch is like allowed to where it's not just the people who have the ball who get attacked. Like obviously, like in ice hockey and in rugby, you can smash into people, but like generally you only smash into the person with the ball. Whereas American football, you can just smash into anyone. I mean, preferably not on your own team, but you know, no
Special
promises.
teams. Special teams are specialist players that come on the field when there's a kick involved. Within the special teams is a mixture of offensive and defensive players, mixed with either a punter or kicker for offense, or a punt returner for defense. Now you know what all the players do and how the game is played.
Is that almost like a game within a game? Like this sort of entirely separate different kicking thing that's going on? I genuinely this is how ignorant I was. I had no idea that you had like different offense and defense teams. I just assumed it was the same, like 11 players, and you got a few substitutes, which is how like soccer or rugby works. But no, it's completely different.
But how do you score? In American football, there's 4 different ways of scoring. Number 1, a touchdown.
Yeah.
The main way of scoring is via a touchdown. If the ball is carried into the end zone area, or thrown and caught in the end zone, this is a touchdown and is worth 6 points.
Okay.
Unlike in rugby, you don't need to touch the ball down onto the ground. All you have to do is cross the line with the nose of the ball to score.
And then you do like an epic celebration from what I've seen.
Number 2, extra points. Once a touchdown has been scored, you have the option of kicking it through the uprights for an extra point, or try and pass or run the ball into the end zone for an extra 2 points.
So this is almost identical to rugby. Incidentally, if America like ever played rugby, even semi-seriously, you guys would absolutely dominate it. It is like a sport almost purposely built, I feel, for like the American psyche and the American way of doing things. It's probably better that you don't, because I'd quite like England to win another World Cup at some point, and that probably wouldn't happen if you guys got serious about it. So yeah, stick to NFL. I might edit that bit out.
Most teams play it safe and go with the 1 point. Number 3, field goal. At any time, the team with the ball can kick the ball between the posts and over the crossbar. Okay. To do this, they must hand it to a teammate who will hold it down to the ground, ready for the kicker to make a kick. A successful kick scores 3 points.
So it's interesting you have to kick from the ground. So in rugby, you can. I'm not going to rugby, but it is very much my reference point. In rugby, you can do what's called a drop kick, but you don't have to have the ball on the ground. You can literally kind of kick it as you go along. But obviously, like you then can't do things like forward passes. So it's kind of different ways of moving up the pitch, I guess.
Number 4, a safety. If the defense tackles an offensive player behind his own goal line, the defending team scores 2 points. The game is played in 4 15-minute quarters for a combined playing time of 60 minutes. High score at the end of 60 minutes wins.
Okay.
Ties are rare in American football, and overtime periods are played if necessary to determine the winner. Different leagues have different rules about tie games.
Oh, so like sometimes if it's tied, you just play like you play on to find a winner. Because I know like there's this like stereotype Americans hate draws, and there's probably like, there's probably some truth in that. Like we're very used to it here because in soccer and in cricket in particular, they're very common. Like in cricket, you can have 5 days of play and it ends in a tie. Sometimes it ends in a tie because like it gets rained off. That's not at all unusual. But my understanding is that like in America that would go down really badly. You kind of like a winner and a loser, which I get. It's a different mentality. So yeah, no, it's kind of interesting how like the determination to have a winner and a loser.
Is that it? Is that all I need to know?
I very much doubt
Well,
it.
you're almost there, but American
Yay!
football is filled with lots of rules, and you'll need to understand a few more of them before playing or watching a game.
I'm not playing.
For example,
Promise you
fumble.
that.
If a ball carrier drops the ball, that's a fumble. Any player on the field can recover the ball by diving onto it. The team that recovers a fumble gets possession of the ball.
And then they get the 4 goes to try and move it forward 10 yards, right?
Interception. An aggressive defense can regain possession of the ball by catching or intercepting passes that are meant for players on the other team. Both fumble recoveries and interceptions can be run back into the end zone for touchdowns.
So this means that well, obviously you have like your offensive team and your defensive team, but your defensive team can score a touchdown. It seems like if your defensive team intercepts or like the ball fumbles or they catch it, they can then go and score a touchdown, even though that's not like their main job, as it were.
Sack. If the defense tackles a quarterback whilst he has possession of the ball, this is known as a sack. This is detrimental to the offense as a down is wasted, and this usually results in a loss of yards.
Yeah.
Incomplete pass. If a pass intended to a receiver hits the ground first or is thrown out of bounds, this is ruled an incomplete pass. A down is wasted and play restarts from the spot of the last down. Penalty. If a player breaks one of the rules, referees will throw flags onto the field. They will determine who made the foul and how many yards his team should be penalised.
So I know like the American the referee in what to me looks like a semi-prison costume, but I guess not. But like the kind of iconic American striped referee costume, like throwing that flag down, is like a really iconic thing. I've never really knew what it meant, but I knew it was kind of important. So it's kind of cool to know that means a foul.
Challenge. If a coach disagrees with the decision on the field, they can throw red flags onto the field.
Ooh.
The previous play will then be reviewed, and if the challenge is successful, the ruling on the field is reversed.
Okay.
If the challenge is unsuccessful and the ruling on the field stands, they forfeit 1 timeout. Timeout. If a team wants to stop the clock to regroup, take a break, or discuss strategy, they are allowed 3 timeouts per half. Each timeout lasts 60 seconds, and players get a break of 12 minutes at half time. Now this is a lot to take in, but once you start playing or watching American football, the rules will become clear. If you found this video at all helpful, please like, share with your friends, rate, comment and subscribe. It takes me ages to make one of these things, and good karma is very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Be sure to follow me on Twitter also, but in the meantime, enjoy American football.
No, go show that guy some love. That was really interesting. I mean, it must be the case for like the average player on an American football team. Probably for the vast majority of the game, isn't doing a lot right because if you have offense, defense, and like the special team, only one of them is on the field at any one time. And of course you've got like timeouts, which happen so regularly. Like the actual amount of like play time or the amount of time for any individual is play, which I guess makes sense with the builds because they're obviously all really kind of big muscular guys, but they're probably not the fastest runners, I'd guess. So I'd guess that like American football players would smash rugby players like physically, but that rugby players would have better stamina and probably be faster runners, or certainly have better stamina. No, genuinely, that has actually helped to clear up a lot of questions. I really appreciate that. I'm still really interested to know like what you can use to tackle people, like what's regarded as a foul, like, what level of like violence? Because I think you can do head to head hits. Can you? I think I know there's like an issue with brain damage. Be very interested in that. Please do comment below, explain to this limey idiot what's going on. But no, like genuinely, that's cleared a lot of things up. So thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe. There will hopefully be more NFL American football content at some point, perhaps even slightly better commentated now I know what's going on. And have a great rest of your day.